Welcome to episode 5 of season 1, the Dream House series, where I live model in Revit my dream home. So I have a live stream on YouTube where you can actually really see what I'm doing, and the replays also live on YouTube as well. But I like to stream and connect with you guys on Instagram. So hi to everyone joining. I will be propping up my phone into my stand so you guys can see the Revit of what I'm doing on my screen. But again, for the better view, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch me live stream there as well. And you'll be able to see everything I'm doing. And the replays are always saved. So let's get into it. So this is where we have left off. This is what we're working with right now. I have designed the first floor plan, the second floor plan, and we are in the process of doing the exterior. So this is as far as we've gotten. Let's just review. This is the first floor. So you walk in, you have the kitchen and the open living room. My phone just said 20%. So I have to just plug that in real quick, guys. Sorry. All right. So again, here is the first floor. You walk in, the kitchen, dining's open to the right, and there's like a big stair connecting you upstairs. There is a slider to get out back here, and then there's, if we're back in the foyer, we go over and there's 2 offices. Excuse me. Woo! My allergies are so bad this time of year. It is transitioning into spring, and there's been so much pollen. So this is the first floor plan, and we can go to the second floor plan. We come up the stairs. There's a hallway here. We have a guest bedroom with an ensuite. We have a washer dryer, and then we have the master suite, which is the master bed in the front. And then you walk in, and there is a bathroom with a walk-in closet in the back of the house. So that is the general layout. We are working on developing the exterior. We added in these dormer pop-up windows last time. That was really fun. You can watch that, how to do some of those steps on last episode 4. You can either watch the replay on Instagram, or you can watch the replay on YouTube and really see what I'm doing, because it's a screen recording that's live streaming. So I want to do more exterior detailing. I want to create sort of like a bump out or wing walls here and extend the facade. So instead of me trying to explain it, I'm going to start creating it. So I'm going to select the wall. I'm going to hit CS on my short commands, which is create similar. I just want to make sure that this is still live streaming good. All right, and then I'm going to start drawing. So I want this to be a bump out, and I'm going to do AL because I want it to align with the edge of where the glass starts. And then I'm just going to basically create this chase in the center. And I can delete this dimension string now. I'm going to do DI again, and I'm going to see how far this is sticking out. Well, I don't know if, let's have it stick out 4 feet. And see how that looks on the exterior. So the roof will obviously extend out with it. And this is going to give privacy because this is the master bedroom. I guess these would be tinted. I don't know. I'm really imagining my dream home not being in like the suburbs, like on a plot of land in the middle of the woods. So I don't really have to worry about people seeing inside my house. But these are at the front of the house. So we're going to create some wing walls, and then we're going to paint them, and then we're going to extend the roof out. So I'm going to go with 4 feet. and I'm just going to create similar. I'm going to create that wall on both sides. Oops. Sometimes if I'm dragging the wall quickly, it goes crooked, but you can just fix it by grabbing the end. All right, and then I'm just going to do AL and align the edge of this wall with the edge of this wall, and that's a quick and easy way to go about doing that. And again, we're going to create similar and then create this. I think this is going to give a good sense of depth to the facade. I also want to create a void beveled piece eventually that like has the facade. There's a specific picture that I reference when I talk about this, but there's like a beveled little facade piece that pushes in. I feel like I'll do that on the back of the house though, just because I want these wing walls on the front of the house. We'll see what happens. In 4 feet, I might decide 4 feet's too much. I'm not sure yet. Also, I don't think these widths are necessarily the same, so I should probably check that. Oh, they are. Go me. I am going to just mimic that on this side again. All right, and then we're gonna align how far they bump out so that they're all the same. Now that I'm looking at it, 4 feet is like a lot. That's like a whole patio. Like I could have a little patio out there, but I don't think that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to select all of these, and then I'm gonna do the M command, MV, which is move. And I'm going to move them all 2 feet in. I think the bump out being 2 feet will feel better. And then in the back, we'll do just like a beveled facade protruding out. Something like, let me get the picture so you guys know what I'm talking about when I'm saying like this beveled facade. There's this picture that I found that I really love. See how it like is out and then it goes in at an angle? I just call that a bevel. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but I'm calling it a bevel. So it starts here and then it just goes in. And I really like the way that that looks. I want to do something like this on the back of the facade and see how that works. But I wanted to create a lot of privacy on the front of the house, so I'm doing full wing walls there. And we're gonna have to just extend the roofs over so that these walls can go up to the roof still. So if I edit the footprint, I can edit these and move them 2 feet out. And that'll be the right distance now to cover with the 1 foot overhang I've already established. So then I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to connect these walls. Now part of me feels like I should do some type of material change in the middle. These are going to be white. I got to go back and paint them. But I just want to attach them to the roof. And we're just clicking on the walls and clicking on the attach top and base command. And it just instantly brings the wall and joins it with the top of the roof. And it cleans it right up for us. It's one of my favorite abilities. So let us do paint. We need to open up the little paint dialog. I don't know why it's spinning. And then we're already selected on white. So we're just gonna paint these walls white to match the rest of the exterior. And then I think I'm gonna do a split face and add some texture to the front of the facade. So let us create a split face. There's a tool up here and it is SF for the command to activate it, the short command. And basically, so I realized if we're on YouTube, the camera froze, my camera froze, but you should still be able to hear me. And that's all that matters. So please excuse the fact that I'm frozen on YouTube, but I am continuing to go. So we're going to do a split face, which is SF. And what that's going to allow us to do is click on this wall and it's going to separate, allow it to separate pieces of it for us. So we can see the whole outline in orange. You might not be able to see it that good if you're on the live stream on Instagram, but if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see the live stream pretty well, minus my frozen camera face. But basically what this allows us to do is then draw where we want to divide up that space. So I'm going to draw a line horizontal there and a line horizontal there. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want the space in between here to be painted a different material. So now that I've done that, it's picking up on this split face, it calls it. So I'm going to go back into the paint tool and I'm just going to pick black for now. And I'm going to put it there because I really like that. I like the way it looks. So the next thing I'm going to do is now do it on this side. So we're going to do that again. We're going to do SF. And then we're going to draw a horizontal line across where we want to break up the facade. One thing to note with split faces is you cannot overlap the orange line. So sometimes you'll get an error message and you can't overlap the orange boundary line of the wall, basically. That is the constraint for it. So we're going to just go back in and paint that side black. And now it does look less compelling on this side because obviously we have this. So maybe I do the whole bottom half black, which at that point I would go back into edit boundary and I would just remove the bottom piece. And it did reset the color, but I'm just going to reactivate that and I want the whole bottom to be black. We're going to have to see if I like that, but I like when I design, I just keep things the way that they are, and then we go back and adjust things later as needed. So I want to create a little front entry now that we have built out walls here. I'm just going to add in a floor, just a generic 12-inch slab. I want it to come out slightly past the piers. I suppose we could call these like little pillars. And I want to go to the second floor and I want to do a roof. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a hip roof, and I'm going to put some columns underneath it after so it looks fancy. But what we're going to do is create a little bit of a hip roof. So let's undefine that one. These three sides are checked off. Let us align the edge of the wall with the edge of that. And then hit yes and see what we are left with. All right, so now we can adjust it by pushing and pulling with this little blue arrows, or we can adjust it by typing in the slope. So over here in the properties bar, we can change this to a 4, and we'll see that it comes down a lot and looks a lot more proportional when you're looking at it. So that looks good. I'm gonna put a soffit underneath here so it's flat, because right now we're just seeing how the roof would look basically underneath. The framing of it is not there, but we don't need to model the framing. So I can do CM now, and I'm going to add in, I think the family I found off Revit City is called a tapered pier. I don't know if I have it loaded into this. That might be something I go and get off Revit City and then come back and do on the next week's live, just so I have it already loaded in. But I don't think I have it loaded in yet. So I'll go back to the second floor, and we're just going to go to the roof tab and do soffit. And I'm going to add in a 6-inch soffit, which is just the underside of the roof. I'm going to do the outline of the roof. It's a square, and then we have it right here. So we can just take the roof and join it with this little join tool with the soffit, and then it cleans up, connects them basically. That edge sort of overlaps the edge of the roof now, but it's fine because we're going to end up covering that with fascia board, which we can do right now. Just for an example, we'll do the 2x12, and we'll just select that edge. So now it's a piece that's just covering it in its entirety. And we can leave that for now. I think that looks proportional. I really like a little front covered porch. Still don't know how I feel about this being all black, but it definitely has a different effect, the black band, than it does on this side, because this is all curtain wall. But this is the kitchen behind here, so I can't really just make it glass like the other side. So I am going to start working on the back of the house now and make my decision on that front color at a later time. It needs to either grow on me or grow away from me, basically. So I know I want large curtain walls in the living room. Here are some pictures. Let me zoom out. Some pictures. Large, beautiful curtain walls. All right. And then there's like this column that the stair ties into, and there's curtain wall behind the stairs, which I love. So I will be eventually modeling the interior structure of it, because I really am going for this curtain wall and structure on the inside look, especially in the living room. The last few episodes we've been focusing on the exterior and just figuring out what to do. Here's the inspiration for those dormer pop-ups. And what I really want it to look like on the inside, like that hallway. And just the general shape of the house, some inspiration there. So these are some of my pictures that I was using as an inspiration of what I want my house to look like. So that's where all that came from. We have these doors we selected together, and they're multi-glide Anderson doors. We went to the Anderson website together and we got them off the website. I want to get a better piece of couch furniture, so for now I'm just going to delete it because it looks really puny in the room. I'm going to go over here to this curtain wall and do create similar, and I'm going to add a nice curtain wall in the front of there, and I'm going to add it here all the way up into that landing where it would secure into the wall. And I'm gonna, I think, carry these windows over here. This is where the dining would take place. I don't have a dining table in the model right now either, but I really like to focus on the exterior stuff before I start adding crazy details, because I want to make sure I like where the windows are going and how the fenestration is working with the overall mass of the building. But this would be like the dining area, and again there would be a couch here. I just don't have the exact families that I want to show loaded in. I want this window to be centered between the stair above and this wall. So I'm gonna just dimension to the side of the stair, the side of the wall, and then the center of the window. And then when I click on the dimension, I can actually select this EQ. It has a slash through it right now because it's not considered equal. But if we click on that, Revit will automatically make that centered in between the two elements that you've chosen. It's one of my favorite tools because it just saves you so much time, and you can do that with as many things as you want, not just one window. You can do it with a few or multiple, really. So we know that we are going to do 1'6", the same as the front of wall. And then we're going to start our curtain wall. This is not a very good way to do this. Also, I'm taking the dimension from the wrong spot. I need to be taking that from the exterior. So we're going to grow a little bit more in here. Let me type in 1'6" and see what happens. It's okay. And then dimension there. Dimension there. So this one is going to have to be thicker because I think if I do 1'6", it'll go into that pocket we need. It does. So let's do 110, give ourselves some room. And then on this side, we'll also have to make it 110. Yeah, I knew it was moving it as a whole, but we couldn't tell on the stair because it wasn't as important, I guess, where it ends. So let's see, the overall length of this is, I think it's 18. It's giving me 2 dimensions. It is 18 feet. So we'll keep it at 18 feet. I feel like it could be good to, I'm just adding stuff here, I don't know. The same proportions, like a little column on the outside of this facade to break it up because it is so long. This one is not as long, but it definitely needs some breaking up with some windows. I know I started adding windows on the second floor, but I want to finish doing that. I might just copy them down, to be honest. Let's see, there's one here in the center of my room. I don't actually know if I centered them. I think I might have just placed them before, but if I dimension them, I can see that it's not. So I'm just going to center that. This is a sink, so I'm going to want to center the window in between the hallway space. And then here, I don't think I want to center this in there because they'll be too close together. But let's do an even 6'8" between the windows. And I think we're good. There would not be any windows in the closet because it's going to be a built-in closet. It's going to have a lot of detailing. I'm not going to probably model that in this show or series just because I'm not an interiors person. I really like the big picture, the exterior, the floor plans, and designing built-ins is not what I like to do for fun. But I like to do all the other stuff for fun. So here we are. I'm so sniffly and I just want to not have the sniffles. But it's okay. This would be 2 feet out. This is 1'6". And then we go back to the first floor plan and sort of see where it's landing. I want this to have a 1'6" so that it has like a frame around it. So let's just move that 3 inches. It's off by 1/4 of an inch. No one will know. Not a quarter, an eighth rather, which is even smaller. So now this will have like a little bit of a frame. I have to go in and add some mullions. I'm not really sure yet. But now I need to center this window in between that wall and this one actually, because it's the exterior wall. So unconstrained, basically it wants to keep the window constrained between an equal distance of those 2 points you just gave it, like the exterior points of the dimension line. And when you hit unconstrained, it just allows you to then move it freely. If you were to move this wall, it would move this with it. Excuse me, I'm yawning. But the dimension basically keeps it constrained, which just means that like when you move a wall, it will keep this centered in between those 2 walls. It basically picks up on the references you've created with the dimension lines, which is interesting. So added those things in, picked up on the second floor, wanted to copy these windows down and just see where they land. So I selected them, I copied to my clipboard, and now I'm going to the first floor and I'm going to align to current view, and now they're in the same spot. So the toilet is in almost the same spot. It's 1 window over. I don't exactly know where the desks will be going, but I'm just going to place them randomly in this room. And that's just where they'll be for now. But we have the opportunity to do a bigger window here. So I just did MA and matched this window to that window, and it automatically picked up on the properties of it. I also want to have that be over more. This desk is just going to be in the way. So I want to select, I want these to be even. So from the interior to the middle. But then it'll be even in the room and not necessarily on the exterior. But it will be even with above. So I don't want to move this one, but I just want this one to be proportional. So both these double windows are like 7 feet in from the interior. And this one isn't moving because of its location on the second floor. I want it to be centered in the bedroom. All those windows are looking good. I want to put some of these windows on this side. So I think I actually have a triple. I do. So I have a triple on that floor. And I think I'm going to do 2 doubles over the triple. So the triple will be centered below the 2 doubles. We'll have to look at this in elevation. But for now, I'm just going to plop them there. I'm also going to move this bed over because it's not really centered in the room. It's bothering me. And I'm going to change these doors to have a 45-degree swing so they don't look so massive in this room. Also, we should add a little railing. So I'm going to click on the railing. And we just have this standard Revit families for railings loaded in. I'm just going to draw a straight line. And there's our railing. So I'm just going to move that to the edge of the wall. Go back into it, extend the line out a little bit more. And there we go. So if I wanted to, I could just make it align and match with the same handrail that's on the stair. And yeah, pull this in. So this is going to be open to below, which means these are going to be 2-story pieces of glass. So I'm going to put them to the roof. And then on this floor, I'm going to put more glass over the slider. The full width right up against it. I really wish there was like a way to show the whole progress. Maybe I'll do a little video and post it on the Instagram page. I'm just kidding. It only lets you do a cover. The cover cannot move. But I'm focusing on the living room right now, not on this side. The living room is just those walls of glass that we're gonna shape and make our own. But you can see that this is wood on the inside, and if I just use space bar, it'll actually flip the window for me. and what that does is it just puts it on the right side of the wall. I have the exterior trim set to be the same color, so that's how I know that it's showing its inside. It's inside casing right now. See, so I flipped it with the space bar. So if I go to the second floor, it's probably easier for me to just flip them in floor plan, but you can see that that trim is now sitting on the inside. And you can just flip it with this little button. These are arrows that when you click on the family, they pop up and allow you to change them. And I'm gonna go to the first floor and just flip this one as well. It seems to be faster than if I hit the space bar. I'm not really sure why, but it just seems to be the case. So again, this one was centered. And I'm not sure, you know, maybe I'm gonna do a couple different things for that one. Let's look at this elevation. So this is the side that has the bathrooms and the bedrooms, and I just want to make sure that these windows are in fact aligned. They do look like they're aligned, and they have a good organization. Let's go to this face. So this looks good. We haven't started this yet. This again is just a placeholder. We're gonna work on developing this back portion because this is going to be the open living room space. I really like now that we can sort of see into how this balcony is looking down over into the space. We will get into possibly changing up this railing so it doesn't look so Revit standardy basically. I'd love for it to be glass. I just have to, we have to get there because I want to make sure that the exterior is good, and then we'll focus on some of the little interior details like that glass. I also might change all the walls on the inside to be white, which I'll show you guys how to do in a second with like literally a setting. And then the interior of these frames I might also change at the end to be black. The only way I know the difference on how they're sitting is if the frame on the inside is that wood color and the frame on the outside is black. But if we are going to have so much curtain wall where we can sort of see in, and these are some of the key moments of my house I really want to highlight, I think I might add in some of those details. And you wouldn't normally have to, but this is, again, a project I'm doing for fun, for myself, for the community, just to share my design process and some of my ideas. And I just thought it would be fun to experiment and see what my dream house could be and design together. So look at, we can see some of these issues in the model. There would need to be a wall there, but those are again finer details, nitty gritty. So I want to already go and change these walls. So let's go into 2x6 edit type. And we can see that the finished material on the exterior is set to white and the finished material on the inside is set to interior wall. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in there and change the interior wall to white, and that will update all of the 2x6 walls to now have the same white finish, which I love. It makes everything so much easier, and we just have to change the 2x4 walls to have white on both sides. Do I know if my house would entirely be white in real life? I don't know. It seems a little bland, but I like the way it looks, especially in the Revit model. So for now, we're making everything white and we're leaving the interior casings of the windows the wood color. But this is the volume of the space, and I just want to see. This is going to be a curtain wall. I wanted to go all the way up. I sort of have that column barrier that makes me almost want to overhang the roof more to capture it, but I'm not really sure if that would make sense. This might not remain in the design. There's a lot of things that I'm still sort of feeling out, but that's what I love about Revit is I can do something like paint this black and add this detail here and instantly see how it looks and feels in 3D. And then as I'm working and developing things, I can decide if I actually like it enough to keep it in the design or if I see something better. So this is centered in between the exterior space, and I'm going to go to a 2D view just because it's easier to sort of maneuver and make sure you're doing things equally apart. In 3D you can't apply the dimension strings, but here we have 4'4", I'll make that, and then this will also be 4'4". So now they're equally offset of this center window. I'm also considering doing 2 of these windows below, so let me delete these. And then copying this over to one below it. I'm not sure if I like just the one better. I think I like just one better, so I'm gonna undo that for a second and leave it. I like having it be simpler. So now that I'm in 3D, I can also tell that the head of the window is not matching the other heads. And basically what I can do is select this window, see that the sill height is 311 3/4. Okay. It's because it's above the casework. This one is 210 1/4. Technically these windows would be lower, and the other ones are only high enough because of the casework. But in the space, I feel like it looks a little weird, so we're gonna match that. We're gonna do 311 1/4. So what I do is I click on the window, then I'm gonna take the sill height and I copy it to my clipboard just with Control C, and then I click on this one and I Control V. And that's literally all I do. It's super simple. Now for the other side windows. So these ones, I think the intention here was to have the middle mullion of the window be where this middle mullion of the curtain glass is. But now you can't really see that because they have the wing walls. But we know. So the sill height of that is 211, which is pretty good. These ones, what did they come out to be? Also 211. So on the top floor, they do definitely look like they align. And on this floor, they don't look like they align with this, but they don't actually have to because there's a wall there sticking out, and therefore they're not really associated together anymore when there was no wall bumping out. And it was just a turned corner, like in the back. Like that's just turning the corner. There's no real separation. I would have wanted these mullions to align, and then these would have been way too close to the floor. Like I can check right now. I'm going to do AL. I'm going to pick on the center line of that. And I'm also going to pick on the top of that window and just see it's pretty close to the ground. So it's 1'7" sill. It looks too close to the ground to me. So that's another one of the reasons that I wanted to add these walls, not only for sight lines and privacy, but because then the rhythm of the mullions don't necessarily need to match. So I'm just going to undo that. And I'm going to go to this side and make sure that these are also set to the same height as these. So these are set to 211. Again, I'm going to copy to my clipboard. And I'm going to select both of them, and then I'm going to paste it once, and it's going to erase them both. And these ones look pretty good. So the next thing I have to sort of decide on is what lines I'm going to follow for these pieces of glass, what I want the head to end up ending at. Like, do I want it to end at these window heads? So there's a line. Or do I want to break that? I might get rid of this column. Well, not get rid of it, but make it smaller so it ends right under the roof. So the roof is overhanging 1 foot, and if I make this only 1 foot bump out, it should die at the roof edge, and it might not feel so awkward. I'm also thinking of maybe making this black or stone. I'm not really sure. Part of me is like, make it black, because I love the contrast of it. Let's just do a little paint. Do a little painting. And see what this would look like black on the facade. Really draws attention to it, which, I don't know. It definitely breaks it up and makes it more interesting. I could put one at the corner. In the front. Like here. But then I'd need one here. I think that could work though. Like 3 fake columns. That would look interesting. I think I'm going to align the heads of this window with the head of the curtain wall for now, and if I want to make it taller, I can always do so. So I'm just gonna align, and let's just put some grid lines in. That's a 7-foot span. So I'm just randomly placing them. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that the DI command, which is the dimension command, and dimension them, and then use the equal tool that I was talking about earlier with the windows. So now that I have 3, if I just do equal, evenly spaces all 3 of those things, which is, again, one of my favorite things ever. So again, we're gonna do that there. So we have like 5, 10, and 6 feet, so almost squares here. And then we're gonna go to mullion, and we're just going to, I wanna see what I used for mullion size on the others. I think I have the exterior set to be thicker, and then the interior ones are thinner. Yep, okay. So I'm gonna keep up that same pattern here, so I'm just gonna select the curtain walls. And that's what it looks like. And then I know this is gonna take the shape of the peak. And this here. Now we can click on this and see what the height is. So it says top offset from the roof level is -2, 4 3/4. So I'm gonna copy that over. I'm gonna select this piece of glass and I'm going to enter that number in. And now the heads are the same. This is set to be flush with the second floor. I could probably bring it down more, but there would need to be pieces of wood here as a header and a sill for this window to sit on. So there would be a distance in between them, but we could probably get away with having a foot between them. I'm gonna leave that for now and see, but we'll see. So let's go back to the first floor. I want to add in one of these column things that I'm now creating. And I want to do that here. And the fact that this only sticks out a foot, it's actually going to be pretty good because that beveled facade is going to be able to sit right in to it. I'm probably going to have to model it in place, so it definitely won't be something I do today. I might practice before just so I don't bore you guys with me trying to do it. But I'll probably practice before doing that bevel so that I know exactly how to do it and I can just do it once and you guys don't have to watch me struggle. But I'm seeing, I don't know, put this at the corner. This at the corner. And then make this 1 foot. Make this 1 foot and see what it looks like. Well, I either need to extend this over or extend it back. Well, I guess I could make this the width 1 foot, and then it would have distance between. How far is the distance in between here and here? 1'6". So I would have to just make it at the corner. Trying to make this a 1'6", 1'6". So that one might need to move closer just so this is proportional. I'm not sure if this is gonna look weird. So many dimension strings, I just need to delete them. They're in my way. 1'7", 1'6". One foot deep by 1'6" wide. And then 1'6" away from it, which I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do. So this will be 1'6". This will be 1'6". And then this is 1 foot, and this is 1 foot. So that works. This just has to be moved in 6 inches so that the distance between this and this is 1'6", and it is centered in between. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then we'll notice that if I just equal these, it will shift them to now be centered. And I just have to go and paint these so I can sort of see the contrast of these columns I'm trying to create. And I like the way that that's sort of shaping up. This corner needs to be worked on, but I think we made significant progress on the exterior this working session, and I wish there was a way I could do like a little video cover instead of a still cover, because I feel like the back is so interesting too. But we only get to see the still cover. It's fine. It's looking good. Looking good. Looking interesting. So this is how I basically start to build out shapes and elements on the facades and give it some life and texture, as opposed to just necessarily a box, like adding all these things and dormers and adding different material changes and porch roofs and pulling walls out and creating columns that aren't really columns but look like columns. All these elements are ways that I start to develop the facade and exterior and make it actually come alive and be interesting, basically. So yeah, this is where we're at. We are really making our way through the exterior. We have these two faces and then these two faces. And I hope to do the bevel next time. I'm gonna write down a list of the things I gotta load in, those columns, maybe some furniture blocks, and figure out how to do that bevel so I can do it quick enough. But this is a 1 foot overhang, and this wall is a 1 foot projection, and the bevel piece I'm going to create when I model in place should fit here inside of that. So we'll see what happens. All right, thank you so much again for joining me, and just got to sneeze again to end it apparently, but thanks for being here. I hope that you guys are enjoying watching this design process, watching this take shape and come to life, and I cannot wait to see what we do next week.